Trump's been at it again on social media, hurling tough talk, claiming China's moves are totally wrong and the consequences will be unbearable. His usual bluster dripping with confidence, as if he's holding a royal flush to make his rivals beg for mercy. Reality, however, slapped him hard across the face. China didn't budge an inch, instead throwing up a defiant, bring-it-on stance. TikTok didn't sell. Tariffs got hit back with equal force. Phone calls went nowhere. A visit to China remains a distant dream. This self-proclaimed deal-making genius, the former U.S. president, probably didn't expect to end up the clown left dangling on stage. He overestimated his leverage, underestimated China's resolve to fight to the end. Now he's stuck, an international laughingstock. China's top brass pegged Trump long ago. The guy's got no strategic staying power. His credibility's in the red. Negotiating with him is a non-starter. He's infamous for flip-flopping, signing today, shredding tomorrow, then tacking on an extra shakedown for good measure. Xi's refusal to play nice isn't a tantrum. It's cold calculation. Why waste time on this endless charade when they can stockpile strength and slug it out for real? First, the U.S. thought decoupling was a political scare tactic to spook China. But China took it dead seriously. Back in Biden's days, they'd already cracked Trump's playbook, anticipating he'd come back swinging harder. Taking punches isn't China's style. Striking preemptively is. The Belt and Road Initiative, kicked off in 2013, now links over 60 countries. Trade volume hitting 30% of the global total. RCEP took effect last year. 15 nations forging an Asian supply chain for 2.2 billion people. BRICS expanded this year, roping in Saudi Arabia and Iran. Oil and rare earths bypassing dollar deals. This combo has built a parallel supply and market system, laying the groundwork for a hard break. The yuan's global push is picking up. Cross-border payments hit 4% in 2024. Local currency swaps span 40-plus nations, totaling over 4 trillion yuan. The BRICS payment system, still young, is testing in South Africa and Brazil, a fledgling dodge around SWIFT. China's even prepped for brutal economic and tech wars, stockpiling chips, energy, food, ready for the worst. Trump swung wildly, expecting China to flinch, but they were locked and loaded. The counterpunch left him dazed. He didn't see this level of prep coming. Now he's in over his head, way beyond his wildest guesses. Second, Trump took office and dove into infighting, first kneecapping allies, turning himself into a lone wolf. Abroad, he's alienated everyone. Allies are peeling away fast. His pipe dream of annexing Greenland ticked off Denmark. They openly clashed at NATO summits. His wild talk of seizing the Panama Canal enraged Latin America. Colombia led a pushback against U.S. bases. His deadbeat move ditching Ukraine, halting aid on a whim. Got Zelensky calling him unreliable. Europe's trust hit rock bottom. He threatened to ditch the WTO, strong-arm the EU and Japan into lopsided trade deals. Germany fired back with countermeasures. France floated a carbon tax revival. Alliances crumbled to dust. At home, he's no better. His base is shaky. Those MAGA-shouting rednecks average less than a high school diploma. Scrape by on welfare and low-end gigs. Their buying power's a joke. They roar at the polls, but can't bankroll a thing. The GOP's a mess. Establishment types think he's unhinged. Far-right nuts say he's too soft. Budget bills only pass because Democrats cave. He's trashed the foundations of U.S. greatness, international trust, and economic edge. Smashed to bits. China swooped in, cozying up to global partners. Middle East oil states lean into the Belt and Road. African nations thrive on Chinese infrastructure. Trump looks around, finds himself alone, his slogans echoing to an empty crowd. Third, the U.S. misjudged China's retaliation strength and ferocity. China's slashed its trade and U.S. economic reliance to the bone. even bracing for negative growth to drag America down with it. Rare earth bans choke U.S. defense. 2024 exports slashed 80%. F-35 rare earth magnets ran dry. Lockheed Martin's stock tanked 30%. Key parts cutoffs hit aviation and chips. Boeing's 737 engine components stalled. Intel's packaging lines halved. China's shrugged off U.S. sanctions. Chips stockpiled for 2 years. Homegrown lithography outpacing forecasts. SMIC's 5nm trials nailed it. Raw materials all domestic now. Their shock resistance outstrips U.S. imagination. Trump figured a tariff swing would drop China. But he's the one scrambling. The U.S. wasn't ready for this heat. China had the playbook ready. His grand plan's a bust. Fourth, China's endurance laps the U.S. by miles. High savings rates. A hefty gray economy. Small-scale businesses prop up half the country. Untaxed and off the GDP books. Rural folks farm their way through. Urban underground cash trades and workshops keep families afloat. Hidden resilience the stats miss is the real backbone. China's hoarded grain for 3 years eating. Coal stacked at ports for 5 years burning. Renewables soar. Wind and solar hit half the world's capacity. Ultra-high voltage grids span the nation. Folks lean on kin and savings. Can last years without income. The U.S. boasts a flashy GDP, but it's padded. Services hog 80%. Finance and real estate bloat the numbers. Manufacturing's a measly 14%. Mostly defense and cheap assembly. They've only grazed China's coastal export zones. Never hit the core. Rednecks strut with tattoos and Harleys. Savings under 5%. 3 months without cash and they're broke. Their economic base is paper thin. Decoupling's suicide for them. Fifth, Trump's trade war's tailor-made for rednecks. MAGA roars loud. But he's alienated new immigrants and businesses. Immigrants feel squeezed. Companies need global chains. Apple's China assembly costs jumped 30%. iPhone prices spiked. Domestic sales slid 20%. India and the EU started boycotts. Brand rep took a hit. Ford's steel and chip costs doubled. F-150 profits got sliced in half. 5,000 factory jobs axed. NVIDIA's GPUs short on chips. Prices up 40%. Gamers raging online. Trump's buddy Musk's Tesla is reeling. Battery supply in the U.S. choked. Shanghai plant output halved. Model Y deliveries lagged 6 months. Stocks down 40%. Abroad, the EU slapped EV tariffs. Germany's market slipped to BYD. Tesla's a poster child for decoupling pain. He yells about others freeloading. Ignores U.S. tech giants dodging taxes. Google and Amazon skim billions yearly. Dollar dominance loots the globe. Trade wars fallout has U.S. firms howling. China's united top to bottom. Folks know the U.S. is the bully. Only sticking together beats it back. Trump courts his base. Lacks a national glue. China's unity and grit outclass him. He's toast in this fight. Trump figured he could bully China into submission with threats and tariffs. Overestimated his hand. Underestimated his foe. Now, China's charging ahead. The U.S. slips further down the decoupling slope. Allies bolted. Economies hollowed. Firms are spooked. Rednecks can't save him. The clown's none other than Trump himself. The bill's on America's tab. China didn't follow his script. Made him the punchline. The cost is the U.S. losing its old edge. Step by step,